Puedo ir al baño.
Movies and games and TV shows, the Cinemaniacs podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Cinemaniacs podcast, where we talk movies, games, and TV shows. I am your host, Maceo, and as always, I am joined with my co-host,
Matthew.
And today, we've got a lot. We've got some big-ass things to talk about today.
Juicy things.
Some juicy. We're gonna bite right into it, and it's gonna squirt all over us, nasty,
all over your cheeks.
I'm just so sorry. I'm so sorry. But we're gonna start it off here. Not news related, but I would like to comment on the SAG-AFTRA strike.
Yes.
So, as many of you probably know, the writer's strike is going on. The WGA strike.
Yeah.
Actors have joined in on this now.
Yeah.
With the Actors Guild of America joining in, and a bunch of actors everywhere are commenting, making videos and stuff. Sean Gunn, did you see the video of Sean Gunn, of him talking about Bob Iger?
I did not see the video, but I saw like him like marching and stuff like that with
Yeah.
the signs and stuff like that. But what was he saying about?
He basically was like, "You're insane. You're insane, Bob. If you think if you think we don't deserve our pay, or if we're crazy for if our demands are out of this world or whatever, because they're billionaires." And like,
Yeah.
do you know Adam Ruins Everything? Have you seen that? He used to be on
I don't think so.
College Humor or something, but he's a comedian, and he also responded, and he was like, "Oh, all these billionaires sitting up on their fucking island and stuff," and apparently, when Bob Iger said this, like it was like right before he got on his private jet to go to a private island.
Wow.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Ron Perlman also made a video about it, and it was much more threatening. It was much more like, "Yeah, you better watch your back, bro."
really,
Yeah, he was like, "You're messing with people's lives," and like, because you heard what he said about well, so it came out that an unnamed CEO of like a major company or whatever,
right?
said that they're gonna wait out the strike and stuff until people start losing like jobs and stuff like that, and until they basically can't provide, they have no other choice but to either take their pay that they have right now,
Right.
or go to a different job, pursue a different profession, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or be homeless straight up.
Right. Yeah.
And that's obviously a billionaire saying that, and people have obviously deduced that it's probably Disney CEO Bob Iger.
Yeah.
Who just recently also, by the way, was I'm pretty sure he was like reinstated or something for the through like 2024, not 2024, but 2025, I think.
So like he'll be CEO for that much
For
longer?
at least the next like 2 years of Disney, probably.
I mean, I think it's good because the quality of things were good when he was around, and then Bob Chapek came in and the quality went down.
Yeah.
So I think that side of it is good, but at the same time, he's not saying good things, obviously.
Yeah. Trying to wait out like the strike and stuff.
It's not smart. You're not going to wait out a strike. I mean, they're going to either get what they want or do different things.
Yeah.
So
And it's like literally the writers and the actors. And the writers have been, they've been at it for longer.
Even longer, yeah.
Since it was the writers and the directors, now the actors. The directors,
the directors.
They already signed a deal. That's why they're not on strike anymore. They're like Guild or whatever signed a deal.
Wow.
And they got like a little bit increased pay, I guess. But the writers have been doing it for the longest, and they haven't got it. And
it's crazy. They've been doing it. I mean, for timeline wise, they've been doing it almost as long as we have been doing the podcast. We're almost on 20 episodes, which is 20 weeks, 4 or 5 months.
yeah,
It's crazy.
and now the actors, obviously.
Yeah, that's the only one I'm like, I've seen people, don't actors get like $1 million deals or something? But I don't know the extent of it. So.
I know we'll kind of talk about this, but the reason why a lot of trailers were released this past week were because they were trying to get out a lot of trailers before the actors went on strike, because they can't use their likeness when they're on strike. The guy who plays Blue Beetle, he made a video saying that he won't be able to do any more promotion for Blue Beetle until they sign a deal.
Dang. He was probably excited too. He's probably like, I want to do this promotion. I want to talk about this movie that I'm in. But at the same time, he probably wants fair pay.
And a even more rumor, but kind of more like sneakier from the billionaire kind of thing.
Of course.
Is it's rumored that the suits that were leaked and stuff were actually leaked on purpose to make people make there be more pressure against the Actors Guild to not sign a deal or whatever, take the pay that they currently have and stuff, because people obviously will start blaming them, or even the writers, maybe people will start blaming somebody.
Yeah.
And it's probably not going to be the billionaire guy, who deserves it, but
dang. And we're going to be talking about that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But before we get to that, let's go ahead and dive into the things that we know about when we talk about them, which are the most recent movies that have gotten trailers. And actually, before we do that, I'll just touch on this real quick. There's a Black Panther game that got announced, and it's coming from EA and a new company called Cliffhanger Games. It's going to be a third-person Black Panther game, and it's not tied to the Black Panther and Captain America game that got announced a while back. This is a separate thing. So interesting, new company. I guess we'll see how that goes. I think Insomniac wasn't Insomniac not new, but like relatively unknown.
Yeah, they were considered indie before Spider-Man, I think.
Yeah.
So
this could, if Cliffhanger Games could be a possible Insomniac situation.
I think EA is definitely
not a good sign.
Yeah, it's not a good name, but I think you kind of hope that EA might just be like the distributor here.
Right.
And Cliffhanger's like the actual people doing the work.
Yeah, we pray that EA is just the distributor.
Yeah. But honestly, I'm a fan of solo third-person superhero games.
Yeah.
And as long as they're good, obviously. So a good Black Panther game, that would be pretty awesome.
I think that would be really cool, yeah. But now we can dive into some of the movies.
For sure.
We got 2 movie trailers for non-comic book separate. Yeah. Napoleon, Ridley Scott's Napoleon.
Yes.
It looks nice.
It does.
It looks very interesting. And Joaquin Phoenix, he's menacing.
Yeah.
He seems like he's pulling this off right. He
is Napoleon.
Joaquin plays Napoleon, and he's not as short as Napoleon, I don't think.
Yeah. Okay, so Napoleon actually wasn't like that short.
That's the whole thing, is that he thought he was.
But I'm pretty sure Joaquin is taller than
like
what he was.
Yeah. But I do love the big hat.
Yeah.
His hat is ginormous. But it definitely makes him look smaller than he is. Like they really use the hat to signify how small he viewed himself, and as small as the movie wants you to make him feel.
Yeah.
But it looks like a lot is going to go down.
Yeah.
A lot of romance and action. Not a whole lot to say on it because we don't know much about the movie. We just got our first look, but it looks good.
I mean, Ridley Scott, epic. Joaquin Phoenix.
Right.
Hey, what a year for Joaquin Phoenix, by the way.
Yeah, Beau's Afraid.
And Napoleon.
Good
year for him, man.
Didn't he do something else? I feel like he just did something else that
he
came out recently.
And then Joker 2 coming, next year?
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Halloween,
yeah. He's stacked.
Oh, yeah.
He's always stacked. There's a movie I want to watch that I haven't seen yet called Come On, Come On with him. And apparently it's an A24 movie, and it was a movie that no one saw, but if everybody saw it, probably could have won Best Picture or something.
Yeah.
So I got to check that out. But sure. Yeah, so Napoleon trailer looks really good. Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
And then the other big trailer this week was, of course, Wonka.
Wonka, yeah.
Timothée Chalamet's Wonka.
Yes.
And this is the prequel. It's a prequel to Gene Wilder's, the original version, not Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
I got to say, he feels like Gene Wilder. He does. I think he encapsulates Gene Wilder's version pretty well.
I think he does too, honestly. I think he has like the kiddiness kind of Gene Wilder, but he kind of has left out the traumatized like adult kind of aspect, which is fitting because obviously he's not a traumatized adult yet, you know. So it makes sense.
Yeah. The quiet up and listen down. Nope, scratch that, reverse it. I was like, yeah, that's Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
It's a little goofy. It's a little like it doesn't feel.
The really goofy line was I'm making chocolate, y'all.
Oh yeah, that was corny. That was really corny. But he is very goofy, and it's very corny, the lines, but it's fun. I think it's very cute.
I think so too, yeah.
The movie overall, it hasn't sold me yet.
Yeah.
I don't think.
The chocolate mafia.
Oh man, yeah. And then a Keegan-Michael Key's like really fat in it. They like CGI a whole bunch of fat on him.
Yeah.
And then speaking of CGI, Hugh Grant.
Yeah, Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant plays a Oompa Loompa. And it just isn't. It's just not appealing. I mean, it's funny, but it's not like.
Isn't he too? I might be wrong, but I feel like he's too small.
Yeah, he's definitely like too small.
Because they're like workers, and he's like too small to really be like a functional worker.
Yeah, and it's weird because they were played by real people, just like little people, just little people. And
that's crazy.
And now they're. What do people have against little people?
I don't know.
You're all going to be CGI creatures now, much smaller than you were before.
Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, the only actor with dwarfism in Hollywood that's really big is Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage, yeah.
Shit, just CGI his face on every single one.
I really wonder why we don't see more.
I don't know. I mean, there are 3 famous dwarfs, like people with dwarfism.
Yeah.
And that's Peter Dinklage, from Kick-Ass, or not Kick-Ass, Jackass. It's not Mini-Me. I can't remember his name. Wee Man. And then there's a comedian who has dwarfism who looks just like Wee Man, but he's really funny. And I can't remember his name right now, but he's got a name for himself. But there's only like 3 well-known people with dwarfism in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I don't know why there's not more. I mean, I can kind of get it. I mean, it's like maybe you're afraid of what you'd be typecasted, or I mean Peter Dinklage has really done a lot for his character. I mean,
yeah,
one of his first movies was, I don't know if it's one of his first movies, but Elf. And the entire joke around him is that he's short.
Yeah.
But I don't know any other movie where that's the joke about him. So,
yeah.
I'm not sure.
But Wonka movie.
Wonka's, it's looking okay. I mean, it's definitely gonna need another trailer.
Both of these are December movies, by the way. Napoleon and Wonka.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, we'll see when they come out. But as of right now, Timothée Chalamet's Wonka. So far, Timothy is the only part that I'm like, yeah, that looks nice.
Yeah.
They're doing a good job with that. But everything else is kind of tiffy right now.
I feel the same.
Well, that was my movie, games, and TV news. What did you have?
Well, the Emmy nominations came out.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't know all the factoids about it, but I
Right.
do know that Succession was the most nominated series of the year. And it was going up against Titans, man. It was going up against the final season of Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
It was going up against season 2 of The Bear. It was going up against some season 3 of Barry, I think, right? The
Season 4.
Season 4 of Barry, yeah. The season 4 of Barry. So it was going up against some good shows, you know?
Yeah.
And it got 27 nominations total.
Wow.
And for the series as a whole, that makes 75 in
Oh
the 4
gosh.
seasons of TV. It's gotten 75 total Emmy noms.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wow.
And I'm talking the entire main cast basically got an Emmy nomination.
Yeah.
Brian Cox, Sarah Snook, Jeremy Strong, Kieran Culkin, and even a lot of the more prevalent side characters, even some of the not so prevalent side characters got Emmy nominations.
Yeah.
They were a lot, and I would say the music is probably the most deserved Emmy nomination because Succession has like the best like music in TV. I think.
Really?
I think
Like
that,
soundtrack or score?
The intro itself is like. I don't think the intro itself is the best, but like it's definitely really good, but it's not like the best in TV. But the score of like the actual show is probably the best in TV.
Okay. Wow.
It's kind of crazy.
That's awesome.
But yeah, very strong goodbye basically to Succession with the 27 most nominated show of the year.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise. Oh, this was just some weird news I had. Tom Cruise says he doesn't know yet when he will be going to space to shoot his untitled space movie. Yes, you heard that right. Tom Cruise plans on shooting a space movie in space.
Oh my God. That's kind of awesome. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, bro. That's kind of crazy. He's just, we've been working on it diligently, and we'll see where we'll go.
That's wild.
That is kind of crazy, man.
He's he just won't do green screen. He just doesn't. He refuses to do it.
That's crazy, man.
He's like, yeah, I'm doing a movie that takes place on Mars. We're actually going. That's insane. Wow. Okay.
Crazy.
I mean, it's Tom Cruise. Everything he does is insane. He is insane.
I'm pretty sure he'll probably be the first actor in space, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know
I don't think. I mean, unless
I don't know anybody else that's
Yeah.
gone. So yeah, first actor in space, and first. Is this the first time that actual space will be used to shoot a movie?
Yeah. I mean, as far as like to my knowledge, at least, I don't think that it's ever like an actor's ever been like actually shot in.
That's
space.
So cool. You think they go to the moon and then they?
That'd be crazy. I mean, depending on when it is.
Yeah,
because there is a moon mission coming up in 2025, I think.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're planning on landing on the moon and making like a settlement there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So if it's like 2030 or something, 2030. I mean, Tom Cruise has enough money. 2030 probably. Yeah, he could probably shoot a movie on the moon.
Right, and he'll still look 30, even though he's like 60 something.
Yeah.
Wow. First actor in space.
Nice.
Well, any more?
No. As far as regular movie, games, and TV news, I'm all out.
Well, then we can jump into the comic book movie news.
Let's get it.
We got it. It took 23 years, but ladies and gentlemen, we got Hugh Jackman in the classic Wolverine outfit, along with Ryan Reynolds in a new Deadpool outfit. This image is my background on my phone. I fucking love this suit. I'm so happy that we got this. I can't even express in words how happy this makes me. And it looks so good.
It looks so good.
And we got a bunch of behind the scenes set photos of him in it. Oh my gosh. It's just a great suit.
Do you have the ones with like the claws actually out too?
I don't. Yeah, I do. Here's one.
Oh my god.
With the claws. Speechless. There's not much to say because it's so good.
Yes, it's a very good suit.
Now, okay, but we can talk about, what do you think of the sleeves? Are you a fan of with the sleeves?
I honestly don't mind them. Like, I think it's pretty good. And I also heard, like, I don't know if this is 100% true, but I heard that reason why, potential reason, like, why that they chose the sleeves as well is that Hugh Jackman is, like, susceptible to, like, skin cancer or something like that. And they're shooting out in the hot sun and stuff. So the sleeves kind of...
Maybe they come off later.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people have been saying, though, in an explosion, or maybe he just rips them off himself.
I think that's very, very possible, yeah.
We could definitely still see a sleeveless Wolverine, and this outfit is kind of I mean, the costume's kind of made for it as well. It looks like.
Yeah, it does look like
to
it.
be cut off at like this at the shoulder kind of.
Yeah,
part, you know?
it does. It looks like the maybe the suit part itself detaches from the shoulder down to the glove
Yeah.
because the gloves look separate.
Yeah.
It's a nice suit. It is beautiful, and it's everything I could have ever hoped for. No mask, but that's
Yeah.
I don't know.
We know it's coming though. I'm pretty.
Oh
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he will wear it at some point
Yeah.
in the movie. Why not? Why wouldn't he? You know. But I'm not the biggest fan of the mask in the first place. Like, it's not my favorite part of Wolverine's costume.
Yeah.
But I am a really big fan of maskless Wolverine in his full suit.
Yeah.
So this is perfect for me. But
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the mask anyways. But this is just, I mean, we got
It's beautiful.
there were set videos of them fighting. We got the images from that video.
Yeah.
I can't wait. This is my most anticipated movie of like ever, I think.
This is awesome.
Yeah, I cannot wait. And then something funny about these set photos is oh, these are so good. They're so good. Oh my gosh. And Ryan's suit too looks really good.
Looks
It's
great,
a
yeah.
clearly new Deadpool, more comic, vibrant version of the
Yeah.
Deadpool suit. So nice.
Bro, it even looks like the headpiece to Ryan's has a little bit of like snug at the top.
The little snug.
Bro, that's so cool.
He kind of had it in the other suit, but it was
Yeah.
like very small.
Yeah.
But this is visible. This is like a visible
you
snug.
see how it like goes in a little bit?
Yeah.
Bro, I love that.
I do too.
I love that
That's
so much.
cool. It really adds to his like he just kind of threw a sock on. You know?
Yeah.
It's like
Bro, in the comics, it gets really snuggy in there sometimes.
yeah, it's long in the
Yeah.
comics. Yeah. But something that really interested me was this behind the scenes photo of a giant collapsed 20th Century Fox logo.
Yes.
They built this.
Yeah.
That's awesome. They
Bro,
built
that
this.
is awesome. They did not use green screen bro. I love that they built this giant stupid prop. I love
it. It's so awesome. This leads me to believe that they are probably in at the end of time in Loki, where all the things go, all the destroyed.
And they're like embedded in the ground.
Yeah.
Kinda. We'll see like that in the ground probably.
Right. So here's my theory. I didn't even think about this.
Okay.
Well, I did. I was watching something. I was watching The Real Rejects. Shout out. I believe this is who said it. I believe this now. That Wolverine and Deadpool survive the destruction of the Fox universe because they're the ones that can heal. They can't die. And so instead of dying, they get sent to the end of time with this like physical embodiment of like what that universe was, the 20th Century Fox logo.
Yeah.
And they get to the end of time and Wolverine is like, this is like all your fault. You did this. You were jumping around time and stuff at the end of Deadpool 2 and stuff. That's what leads them to fight. And I don't know, I like that theory a lot. Is that their universe, the Fox universe, collapses because of incursions and stuff because Deadpool is jumping around all these universes. And then that in turn gets that universe destroyed, and them two surviving the death of the universe makes perfect sense because of their ability to not die, basically. Yeah. I love that theory so much. I honestly hope that's what it is. Do you have any theories on this? Like, could you even like?
I don't know, man. I really don't. I mean, yeah, it feels like this is just like Disney just going, "Hey, man, we got you, Fox.
We own you, Fox. Look at what we did to you.
Doing whatever we want with your logo and stuff."
Yeah. And of course, all this news happened the day after we posted the first the podcast before this.
Yeah.
After I was like, yeah, I really want to see the suit and stuff. And then the day after Ryan Reynolds posted the image, I was like, of course. But it looks so good. It just the set photos, the suit. Oh my gosh, I've just been dreaming about it ever since it got after it got released.
Looks great, man.
Oh man. But anyways, let's move on to a little bit more news now. Ahsoka got its new trailer, and we got our first look at Grand Admiral Thrawn, played by Mickelson. I can't remember his first name, Dave Mickelson or something. I don't remember, but he's the actor that plays him in the animated show,
the
Rebels. Yeah. He looks like Elon.
He does. He actually does.
I like the joke going around that he looks like Elon. He looks just like Elon. The trailer looked really interesting. It really gave focus to Ray Stevenson's character who passed away recently.
Yeah.
Just a few weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
We are no Jedi is what he says, I believe, is to the people that are like, you're here to help us.
Yeah.
And he's like, we are no Jedi, and he kills them or something. Yeah, the orange lightsabers are so cool. These characters are so interesting. And then we got then we got another look at Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. She's great. I mean, thank you, Boss Logic, for getting her casted with your fan art. She's so good. I'm very intrigued by this series. A lot of the Star Wars stuff isn't always up my alley, but this is something I'm pretty interested in. Yeah. And hopefully it's better than the last season of Mandalorian, because it was a letdown. It was definitely a letdown.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
Well, I did hear that Rosario Dawson said that Ahsoka is basically going to be like season 6, I think, of Star Wars Rebels. It's going to be like the continuation.
Okay,
of
yeah,
Star
that makes
Wars Rebels
sense.
in a sense. So it's really going to have a lot of homage to fans of that series in particular.
Right.
Unfortunately, I have not watched Star Wars Rebels. I'm not the biggest fan of the animation.
Okay.
In Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah, it is a little poop.
It feels a little Disney-fied to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm still hyped for the Ahsoka show. I feel like it will be able to be enjoyed, obviously separately from Rebels as well.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
Obviously they've already established Ahsoka through Mandalorian already and stuff. For Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka in particular.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be good.
Yeah, and we got Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character.
Yes.
As well as some returning Rebels characters. I think Ezra was in there, I believe.
Oh yeah.
I know a character that's a lot of people have wanted to see in live action. So
he's the blaster lightsaber.
Yes, which is interesting. An interesting lightsaber, to be sure.
Imagine you just do you get into the lightsaber lock or whatever, and
you
just
shoot him. It's almost like an overpowered weapon.
Because that happens a lot in a lot of lightsaber fights. Is those clashes?
The lock, you
just go. Got a
shoot
gun.
him.
Got a gun, buddy.
I win. I have a gun. You lose. Yeah. Another piece of news that we got, or another thing that dropped, was the new Blue Beetle trailer.
Yes.
And it adds more to the first very charming trailer. I think as of right now, it does seem a little I don't want to say basic or generic as like a bad way. It's not bad that it looks this way, but it does look a little formulaic and generic. Mm-hmm. But the character itself seems like a lot of fun. Yeah. I'm very interested in seeing this the relationship between the suit and the hero, Jaime. Yeah. George Lopez, obviously, he's in the movie. I'm sure he's gonna be funny. But I think my favorite part of the trailer was the Nana. Did you see that?
Oh no.
Nana with a machine gun. So his grandma wields a machine gun and is like, ah! Yeah.
Nice.
And so it just adds on, and it looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Okay.
James Gunn has said that that Superman Legacy is going to be the start of canon.
Yeah.
But this is somehow still canon. So my takeaway from that is, if this fails, then it'll be okay, and if it doesn't, then he'll be like, it's canon.
Yeah. So my problem with that is that apparently it's confirmed that we're gonna see some familiar faces in Blue Beetle.
Oh, really? Like
Yeah,
like familiar
like
the Flash?
DCEU, which makes no sense because this was the whole.
That was the whole point.
But now it kind of feels like they're like you said, if Blue Beetle does good, we'll take what we like of the movie, make it canon,
Make
and
it
stuff,
canon.
and then Superman Legacy is still gonna be the start.
Yeah.
Of,
That's so weird. They don't even know what they're doing. Don't release movies if they don't.
And by the way, did you see all the Superman Legacy castings?
Yes. So we have that on here too. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Isabella, is it Merced or Merced?
Merced, I think. Yeah.
Isabella Merced has been cast as Hawkgirl.
Merced, maybe, I don't know.
Eddie Gathegi has been cast as Mr. Terrific, and he's Darwin in X-Men First Class. The guy that blows up.
Yeah,
the guy that can. Yeah, the guy that can survive anything dies.
Bro, I know everyone knows that pose.
eats the blast. We got Anthony Kerrigan as Metamorpho. Amazing casting.
Yeah, really good casting.
Do you know who this is?
Yeah, he's like I don't know know him from like show or a movie, but
Right.
I saw
based on looks.
I saw his like face and stuff. I was like, bro, that looks really good.
Yeah. He's perfect. I've been watching Barry, and he's in Barry. He's one of the main characters in Barry. He's hilarious. He's a Russian mobster, and he's like, Barry is my best friend. I love Barry. And he's like, but I will have to kill him if he doesn't go through with this. And he's so funny. And Metamorpho, a character that I don't really know anything about, but seems like kind of a goofy character.
Yeah.
Perfect. He's gonna be great as this character. And then the other one was Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, Green Lantern Guy Gardner.
Yes.
Also great casting.
I heard that he will apparently have a bowl cut in this.
I hope
in this.
they
role.
better. Yeah, they better give him that bowl cut. I will say the only. Okay, Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner makes sense. Let's say James Gunn had nothing to do with this. Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. That's a good casting because Guy Gardner is not a good. He's like a very douchey person. Like he's like the least favorite of all the Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
And Nathan Fillion can play that role very well.
Yeah.
My problem is this feels like James Gunn being like, my friend is going to be in this movie.
Yeah.
I have to cast him. Because apparently there was already someone that was going to play Guy Gardner in the Green Lantern show that they announced like a long time ago that apparently is still happening. But now they recasted that guy with Nathan Fillion, with James Gunn's friend, to then he'll play him in everything that he appears in.
I'll say this. I would expect James Gunn and a bunch of his like friends from Guardians to transition into roles in the DC.
I do too.
Probably.
Yeah.
And honestly, probably decently soon because they like working with them, and I mean, they're not gonna stop.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna see like the big name guys. Like I don't know if like Chris Pratt and Dave Bautista are all gonna immediately be in the next like DC movie.
Yeah.
But I'd say eventually they'll probably, almost all of them will probably be in the DCU.
Especially with Chris Pratt, because I think Dave Bautista's more likely because he's out now. He's literally free to do everything. Yeah. But Chris Pratt is still Star-Lord. You know, he's still tied to that
They
character.
even said, I don't know if it's like 100% confirmed, but I saw something about James Gunn talking about a potential like Star-Lord like solo series or project or something like that, which that's very interesting.
I hope he gets his own movie. I'm not gonna lie,
that'd be crazy.
I know people like would want a show because it's not the Guardians, so why a movie and stuff.
Yeah.
But a movie about Star-Lord could, I don't know, it could just really dive into his character even more so. We really find out, like specifically focusing on him, make it character like based, like a character focused story based on him, and about how it's like living on Earth after all this has happened. After visiting alien planets for all of his lifetime.
Yeah.
And going back to Earth where everyone kind of is just like, yeah, aliens exist, but we don't really recognize it. You know? It's like, I don't know. I think a show would be very toned down. I think a show would very much make it like, well, we're gonna do this, but you'll forget about it.
Yeah.
Like no matter how good the Marvel shows are, you kind of forget that they're there. I think because the movies are so much more prominent.
I do somewhat agree. I think the only one that sticks out to me is Loki because it has a lasting impact on the importance of the MCU and stuff like that. Like how the multiverse and everything works.
Yeah, and I think I agree with that, and I think that Secret Invasion could be like that, except nobody's fucking watching it.
It could be like that on a more like grounded level, because it's like, okay, instead of the whole multiverse being affected, the kind of street level heroes and stuff like that are affected by the now Skrull invasion.
Yeah,
and
it's just that nobody's watching it, so it's like it doesn't feel as impactful because nobody's seeing it.
And did you see that it had a budget of $212 million? Bro?
Are you serious?
Yeah, it and She-Hulk both had over $200 million for their budget, just around the same. And some of the movies don't cost that much, bro.
Yeah, some of the movies cost less.
And I know like some people would go, oh, well, TV is supposed to be more expensive than movies. But not when it's like 5 episodes.
Yeah.
6 episodes long. Yeah. And especially Secret Invasion, bro. All of the CGI budget, which is like the most expensive stuff most of the time, it's the Skrull stuff.
When they shapeshift,
so they've obviously used it too much. It's obviously too much.
Yeah.
They got to start cutting down on the budgets of these projects, man. You got to be resourceful.
Right,
People fall back on the amount of budget that you have, to be lazy and stuff with the work. And it's just it's not good, man.
I agree.
But back to the Superman Legacy castings and stuff. I did find these interesting though because I was thinking at least that Superman Legacy was literally just going to be like just Superman, and all his like folks,
Yeah, this is interesting.
But he's setting up stuff with some pace.
Yeah, I like this. I like that they probably won't have humongous roles in the movie. I would guess, but the fact that he's integrating characters of a wider universe, making this feel like a bigger universe is really nice, I think.
Yeah.
It really selling home the fact that this is the beginning of an established universe, So I think these castings are all pretty good. Starting off with some simple characters isn't bad either, some characters that people won't have the biggest opinions on who you cast them as.
The most I saw really out of all these was people were excited that Hawk Girl is gonna be in the movie and stuff like that.
Isabel Mercer or Merced, I don't know how to say her name, but I can't remember what I've seen her in, but I know that name.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested in this movie. Just keeps getting more like intriguing. I genuinely cannot wait to see how this turns out.
Yeah.
I have a couple bit of news. Not very prominent bit of news, but Anson Mount, who plays Black Bolt in not Inhumans because that doesn't exist, but in Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, he has said that he has had informal conversations about coming back as the character, and all I'm gonna say is yes, because first of all, it's the simplest character. He doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
His personality is stoic king.
But so for him, do you think that means like an Inhumans like MCU project eventually?
I think eventually because, and I know that in Marvel's like their whole point is like, so the Inhuman show isn't MCU or Marvel Studios, it's ABC doing Marvel shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff. Yeah. So Marvel Studios still has the chance to be like, well, we are known for making bad things good for the first time, basically. And so I think that they will take this opportunity to be like, well, we're going to turn the Inhumans into like the new, maybe not the new Guardians, but like a similar new team like the Guardians.
Reinvent it and stuff like that. Yeah, and make it good.
Yeah, and I think Anson Mount coming back is perfect because he was like one of the only good parts of the entire show because his acting as the character is fairly good. and he doesn't say a single thing
Yeah.
other than when he needs to, and that one little.
He just
"I'm
feels like
sorry."
he should stay as like
Yeah.
the. I honestly want him to be the MCU Black Bolt.
Yeah, I do
know,
too.
for
And
sure.
why would you recast? There's no
Yeah.
point. Spend more money on a different actor when you already have a guy that's in place to play this character that nobody knows or cares about, you know?
I don't know. I'm hyped for the MCU to like kind of get rolling on like setting up to where they get to the point where they can all like they can satisfy every part of the Marvel kind of fan base. Like they can satisfy the Avenger fans, which is, a lot of them.
A lot, yeah.
And then they can also satisfy like the pure X-Men fans, which is a bunch.
Can't wait, yeah.
And then the specific Inhuman fans and the Guardians fans.
Yeah.
They can keep like satisfying these different portions of the Marvel fan base and stuff like that by getting these all the Thunderbolts and stuff like that. The Young Avengers, all these teams going and stuff, and those specific fan bases of those teams can feel very, seen and stuff like that.
Right.
And like those projects. Obviously, some you focus on more than others. Obviously, there should be more. We need mutant content. Like that's like
it's a need.
Yeah, like that should definitely get a focus for a while, I think.
Yeah. They should. I think after Secret Wars, I think we should have a mutant focused saga. Because I mean, what much is there to do after the multiverse anyways? It's like you went the Infinity Stones, which are the creation of the universe basically, and the power of the universe. And then your next step was every other universe.
Yeah.
And there's not much bigger you can go, so why not make it more personal?
Pull the scope in a little bit.
Yeah, like a much more grounded saga of the MCU. Yeah. A mutant saga would be the most grounded because there are
it's literally, I mean, based off of actual racial tensions,
exactly,
like racial injustices in the actual real world,
human history and stuff.
And it's not like we haven't had like bits and pieces of that in the MCU. Obviously, we have with Black Panther and Captain America and the Winter Soldier and stuff like that. We've or Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We've had bits and pieces here and there, but obviously mutants are like heavy. That's like their thing, is that they are a minority and they are like persecuted for it and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're a metaphor for racism.
Yeah, and the X-Men is like a place, and it's a place where they all come together and stuff like that. And Charles Xavier is like the head, and it's a very grounded and emotional storyline and stuff like that, just overall.
Yeah,
and it definitely needs to be covered in the MCU and have like focus put on it for sure.
I completely agree.
Be built out completely.
Yes, a mutant saga would be so nice, and it wouldn't be. There would be less focus on. I love the space adventures and stuff, but there are so many now in the MCU that it's like let's have one saga, at least one, where it's like mainly the Earth and focused on certain groups of characters.
Yeah, it would also fill in a lot more of the MCU actual timeline as well, like the Earth timeline throughout the years and stuff, because we'd obviously go get bits and pieces of the MCU Wolverine origin and stuff like that, all the way up to the formation of the X-Men and stuff like that. You know? And that would fill in more time slots and bits and pieces, like how Fantastic Four supposedly is going to go back and fill in,
into the 60s. Yeah.
So we'll get a more filled out timeline of the MCU and stuff.
Right. Yeah. I really hope that's where they're going with it. And then the last bit of news that I had was again, Bob Iger, Disney CEO, has said that they are going to be cutting down on Marvel and Star Wars content.
Yeah.
And not cutting down as in everything that we have seen, they're going to delete some stuff.
Yeah.
Just as in they're going to spread it out more.
Yeah.
Great move.
Yes.
Honestly, the smartest move they've made in a minute. Really, all I can say is that that's a smart move because they need these projects to be able to breathe. As much as I love Marvel and I enjoy Star Wars, I don't need my entire days to be filled with watching both of them. It's like I need that time to be excited for the next thing.
I also think reasonably this is because statistically the numbers are going down because of them pumping out the endless content, people are getting tired.
Yeah.
And not just, and it's not like, oh, just superhero fatigue. Star Wars is experiencing the same thing as well with how fast they're pumping out like the Mandalorian content and stuff like the Book of Boba Fett. Was that really a needed series, and stuff like that?
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of questions there, and I think them pumping the brakes, examining what they've made and stuff like that, and examining what they are making,
Right.
could be very useful. And
Yeah.
And what they're experiencing right now, for sure.
Yeah, it's a very, very smart move, and I think superhero fatigue. When people say superhero fatigue, I don't agree with the whole like people are done with superhero stuff.
Yeah, no.
I completely disagree with that. Superhero fatigue is real, but to me, it's the fact that we're getting so much in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So that's the only time superhero fatigue is a thing to me.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm still watching it. I'm still enjoying them.
Yeah.
But in my back of my mind, I'm like, I know that I'd enjoy all of this way more if I had build up to it.
Yeah.
Instead of I'm going to see the new Spider-Man movie and Moon Knight comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or like, when that time period was happening with like a movie comes out this day and then the day after a show starts, or a movie comes out in the middle of a show.
Yeah.
And it's like that's when it's the most, I think, is when you're watching a show. Oh, and a movie comes out in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with it, but you're like, but I got to go see it,
Yeah.
I think spreading these out to be 2-3 movies a year, 1-2 shows a year in between there.
Yeah.
Because that it just gives both of them. The movies are the most profitable thing.
Yeah.
And the shows are what most people have kind of agreed is like they're not as good as the movies, but also I personally think that the shows and movies are pretty close. Like the shows have like Loki and stuff. Loki competes with some of the best Marvel movies.
Yeah.
But in terms of,
I think even some of the weaker shows are sometimes they're more enjoyable than some of the weaker movies and stuff like that. Honestly.
But my issue with that is I would love for these shows to be movies because I like
some of them should have been movies.
Yeah,
sure.
like Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think should have been a movie, and I think
I agree with that. Yeah,
not a lot of people because specifically that one and like Secret Invasion because they are made.
Secret Invasion should have been.
Yeah.
I think it was originally supposed to be a movie. I don't know. I don't know if it was.
I don't think so, but it is an event that should have been a movie.
Yeah,
but it's just these shows that they literally advertise as 6-hour movies.
Yeah.
This one is meant to be like a big movie. Then make it a movie. Make a 3-hour movie, make a 2.5-hour movie, but don't. I don't know. Some content doesn't need to be spread 6 hours.
Yeah.
As good as Secret Invasion, I think, has been, they easily could have condensed it into a 2.5-hour movie.
Yeah.
And it could have been a big event. But it's still good, and I still enjoy it. The only issue that I have is that I probably won't go back to watch it.
Yeah.
So, but with the movies, I often go back and watch those. So.
That's true.
Anyways, but that's all the news that I had. Did you have any extra news?
I did. Apparently, the canceled Spider-Man freshman year animated show has been repicked up in the works by an anime studio by the name of Polygon Pictures.
Okay.
So apparently, we are still gonna get Spider-Man freshman year.
Awesome.
Obviously, it is under the Marvel Studios banner and stuff like that as well.
And Polygon
Pictures Anime Studio.
Polygon Pictures, I think, had they had some work on the Clone Wars. I think.
Okay.
I saw some stuff about that.
Cool.
How people were like, yeah, they actually worked on the Clone Wars a little bit.
Cool.
So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And I know that freshman year isn't going to be our Peter Parker's backstory.
Yeah.
It's going to be like an alternate version.
Yeah.
But I think it's safe to say that everything that happens before the Tony Stark meeting, the meeting of Tony Stark, because the different part in the show will be Norman Osborn.
Mm-hmm.
I think everything before that is safe to say that it probably happened to Tom.
Yeah.
So I think I'm very intrigued in that purely because I want to see what happened. How did Tom's Peter, what did his life look like before and as he became Spider-Man?
Yeah.
I need to see that Uncle Ben. I need to know that Uncle Ben was here at some point. But no, that's exciting. I'm excited to eventually see that when it comes out.
Yeah. But that was all my comic book movie news
Yeah.
as well.
And going back a little bit, I wanted to comment on how you said that now that Marvel has the X-Men and stuff, and they have all the stuff they can do, they also own Hulk and Namor. We're in a timeline now where the only thing that Marvel does not own is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They officially have every single rights to their characters except Spider-Man, and they still have half the rights.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think Sony's ever going to give up Spider-Man, but maybe something could befall them.
Yeah. I honestly think Sony would probably have to implode for Spider-Man to go.
And because I think, but the only way that they implode is if Spider-Man went. The thing is like
Sony would literally, they would hold on to Spider-Man almost against like everything they have, probably.
No doubt.
He would only go up against like PlayStation.
Yeah.
their
And
literal
even then,
games. Even then, they'd probably be like, I don't know.
Yeah, because like
they would probably fold though.
Yeah, they probably would. But that's so true. It is their most Spider-Man is like their baby. Like it's the thing that if they lost, they'd probably other than PlayStation, they'd probably crumble in every other aspect.
Yeah. I mean, their electronics, like they are profitable there, but
right, yeah,
not from what they're making from
movie-wise.
Spider-Man and villains and all that. You know, like it's insane.
Yeah, like one of the most profitable pieces of their most profitable thing with a PS4.
Yeah.
One of their most profitable thing is Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and they lose that, then it's like, well, okay,
bro. That's one thing about DC is DC. They ever been split up like Marvel has and stuff like that? Like
no, because
character right wise.
I don't think so because DC has never gone bankrupt, and they've always been the superhero like company that the general public was like, they have Superman and Batman, and I grew up watching that in the 60s, so I'm gonna keep watching it, as these movies come out. So the 80s and 70s films came out, those people watched them, they made money. They really didn't struggle because they had Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman in the Justice League, which was like the iconic. If you don't like people like our grandparents, I don't like superheroes, but I know who the Justice League are.
Yeah,
their name is Justice League of America. It's not the Avengers where they protect all the world. Yeah. Justice League's original name is Justice League of America. They were made to be like war propaganda almost. So DC has never had this struggle of falling behind.
That's some lucky stuff, man, because Spider-Man is literally, that's Marvel's top dog. Like that's literally
I'd argue that Spider-Man is more top dog than any superhero ever.
Yeah. Like second to Marvel or second to Spider-Man, like pre like MCU is probably Wolverine, right? Like in terms of popularity and stuff like that.
Probably, but even then it was like Wolverine was even then when it came out, Wolverine was a character people knew of, but nowhere even close to Spider. I mean, the Hulk is a bigger name than Wolverine, but Wolverine came out before the Hulk movie did. Mm-hmm. So that general audience was more so with Wolverine than Hulk, but even then Hulk had a bigger, he's a big green monster, so he's very approachable, attention grabbing.
That makes sense.
And he had the 60s TV show. So,
but no, it's literally like if like another company owned Batman and Warner Brothers had to like share the rights with Batman and stuff like that. Yeah. And that's a hard thing to do. And all of his villains, literally every single villain. Imagine it. Nah, bro. Yeah. Warner Brothers would be, that's literally basically the exact same situation because like Spider-Man and Batman both have amazing rogue galleries and are the top dogs probably of their respective universes. And
Spider-Man and Batman, I think you could argue that Batman and Superman are kind of interchangeable in that sense, but more in recent times. Batman and Spider-Man are the two like interchangeable of most popular superhero ever of all time. Yeah. It's like they're both they're both like kids' backpacks.
Yeah.
I mean, they are almost both a brand in themselves, you know?
Yeah, literally.
I mean, Spider-Man even more so because he's not owned by Marvel.
Yeah.
And so Sony owns this one character who already is basically his own brand and made him into his own brand.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyways, so that's all the news that we had this week.
Yeah.
And let's go ahead and jump into our review of the new Secret Invasion episode 4.
Yes.
We're coming up on the end already. We only got 2 episodes left. This episode was the shortest episode. Unfortunately, a little short, but it had some big moments.
Some big reveals.
Yeah.
Yes.
So right off the bat, my theory about Gaia was immediately disproven, like within the first 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Gaia pops right back up.
Yeah.
And
she had the healing from the
the extremis.
extremis healing.
Yeah. So we find out that she also has the powers that Gravik has.
Yeah, it showed the little scene of she did it right before she left the compound or whatever. Yeah.
That was convenient.
That was very convenient. Yeah.
I will say that was the most convenient thing. And also I hate it when Disney does that, when they ended off on like the character died and then 2 seconds later we find out that they didn't die.
Yeah, like
at the end of Loki.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Remember that when we thought he died, post-credit scene, he's alive. I don't know. At least wait till farther into the episode.
Yeah.
Let it feel like, oh, Guy is dead. You know. It's like,
let that simmer. You know. Yeah.
Yeah. Instead, my theory was immediately disproven.
They probably should have opened with the bigger reveal of the episode, I'd say, which is the kind of everyone already. Well, we literally already knew it, but they,
they confirmed.
Yeah.
They double.
They
confirmed.
showed us. They literally showed
Yeah.
us. Rhodey's a Skrull.
Rhodey's a Skrull. How does this affect LeBron's legacy?
Because he's in the Space Jam movie.
Yeah. I pray at this moment. All I can do is pray and hope that Rhodey is locked on a spaceship somewhere, and he'll come back, and it'll be like, I'm here for Armor Wars.
I'm hoping Civil War is when they swapped him out at least.
Civil War's a good place, I think. Civil War's a good place to be like, we swapped out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that means Rhodey doesn't know that Tony's dead, and then, wait here, new theory, new theory time. Let's say Rhodey doesn't know Tony's dead, and he got swapped out around Civil War.
Yeah.
Eventually, when Rhodey comes back in this show, I'm sure they'll show like actual Rhodey.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get a fight between both of them. I think we'll get a fight between Skrull Rhodey and Rhodey.
Like War Machine versus Iron Patriot type stuff.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
That would make sense for Skrull Rhodey obviously to be Iron Patriot. And Rhodey to be War Machine. That'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome. I think it's safe to say we'll at least see Rhodey at some point, actual Rhodey.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
But let's say that he doesn't know about Tony's death. And, he couldn't because nobody knows that Rhodey's a Skrull.
Yeah.
So they're obviously hinting at the fact that Nick left Earth because of Tony's death. Because I think that's what they're hinting at anyways, is because Maria Hill literally says like, oh, did you left Earth because of someone else? Who are you talking about? And it was already said by Nick Fury. It was already said by Samuel Jackson that the death of Iron Man affected him so much that he left Earth.
Yeah.
So I think eventually we'll get that conversation of Tony. It was Tony, He's why I haven't been here. I think we'll get, if we get it, it'll be one of the most emotional scenes ever, I think, of Rhodey realizing that he missed the death of his best friend, didn't even know it happened, and he wasn't there. And I think that'll be a very great bonding moment for the actual Rhodey and Nick Fury if this happens. That's my small little theory on that, but I'm excited to see where the show goes with Rhodey's character, and it's obvious that we will get hero, normal Rhodey, because he's got his own movie coming out. And if you think that I'm going to go see a movie with Rhodey finally being the main character and it's not Rhodey, it's a Skrull pretending to be Rhodey, it'll be weird to watch.
Yeah.
So I really hope that this comes into fruition. Well, how were you feeling about this reveal?
It's obviously a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah. It's almost like you don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The scenes are they're hard to watch.
Oh,
with
man.
him, like,
They're so hard to watch.
But
I want you to kill Nick Fury. No.
I got faith though. I have faith that have faith that we'll see real Rhodey, and he'll come back in a flare and stuff.
Yeah, I do too.
Take out his other half, or maybe Nick Fury takes out the other half, and
I hope it's Rhodey.
Rhodey comes in. Who knows?
I hope Rhodey gets the chance to be like, "You're fucking." Yeah, but we also get another incredible scene with his wife. The scene with his wife at the dinner table.
Oh, yeah.
And they both fire the gun and they miss.
Yeah.
And they just go, "See you around, I'll see you around." Oh man, that scene is so good. And I almost was like, when it first happened, when they shot and they missed, and you go, oh, okay, well they missed. Okay, well that wasn't very. I thought someone would have died there.
Yeah.
It almost felt like, what was the point of that? But then when they both realize, well, oh well, and then he gets up and he goes like, and she says, if I was just me, would this have still all happened? And he's like, I guess we'll never know.
I guess we'll never know.
He got his Kanye moment.
Yeah.
I guess we'll never know. It's such a good scene.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that scene, and the relationship between I don't even know her name.
Yeah.
But Nick Fury and his wife.
Yeah. It's cinema.
It's cinema. A great. I mean, we've only known that he has had a wife for 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And it's already like one of the best relationships in the MCU.
For sure.
And one of the best written relationships.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping she'll come back around maybe to help out and be like, I really want to try again,
I think so, yeah.
I mean, it's Nick Fury. Will he trust her? Probably not. But
Yeah.
maybe something. Maybe he'll have that change of heart of like letting her in again, you know? And maybe she'll turn into her Skrull form. Maybe that'll be like her going from human form to Skrull form and being like, I would like to give this a try.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then the final
blow.
The final blow of this episode is Talos dies. No. Ben Mendelsohn.
No, I won't lie. When Gaia died last episode, last episode, my first reaction to it was, wow, I was really expecting her father to die and not her, because usually they take out the older and leave the younger to go. And then the next episode, she gets revived and he dies.
Yeah,
but it is a sad death. It is kind of a sad death.
I agree.
To see Talos go.
I agree. But I don't feel like this is a fake out. Like next episode will wake up.
Yeah,
I mean, especially the way they built it up.
Oh,
in the part, and Gravik's a little bitch, man.
Yeah.
In that moment, I was like, this is the first time I was like, I want to strangle you. Oh man! And we're gonna see him soon. He's gonna be in Barbie. He's gonna be in.
He's a kin. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched one of the clips today of him going, "Hi, Barbie," and I'm like, that's the same guy. Jump to the screen and strangle you. That's so funny. He's a great actor. Kingsley Ben-Adir. He's so good.
He's killed Maria Hill and Talos.
He's killed 2 like established characters within the MCU.
Two of the closest figures in Nick Fury's life.
Yeah, and one we've
and one we've been with for more than a decade.
Yeah, crazy.
And he ends it just like that.
Just like that.
with a James Bond pistol kill. It's crazy.
Yeah, and Rhodey, quote unquote Rhodey, says he's like, you could tell people that the Skrulls are out there, or I could release this footage of you.
Yeah.
Of
Fury shooting.
Of you shooting Maria Hill, one of our best men, or best people. So obviously got some blackmail there.
Yeah, just another blow to Fury, man. Yeah. I'm telling you. And, bro, they've obviously been hyping Fury up, kind of. Well, not directly, but they've been like, oh, Fury's out of his game. He's a retired oldie, man.
Yeah, he's
washed up. They've obviously been hyping it up for, like, the last 2 episodes or whatever, last episode even, for him to go, like, crazy. And
I can't wait. It's gonna be like,
and he's gonna end up on top.
Yeah, no, he's Nick Fury. Yeah. Even when he's out, he's in.
Yeah,
that's a great line. I love that. I'm Nick Fury. Even when I'm out, I'm in. So good.
Oh.
But this episode was yet another banger.
It was good, man.
And so far, I think the show is. We only have 2 episodes left, so unless one or both of these next 2 episodes just fumble the shit out of the show, I think this show is going up there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's probably, I don't know. I think it's probably a top 3 contender for sure.
I do too. I also, as of right now, as it stands, I'd probably give it more around an 8.
Yeah.
But I don't. But that's still like top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. Good episode though.
Yeah, great episode. Can't wait to see the next one, the penultimate episode.
Yes.
And after that, that's the one that's usually the episode where everything is revealed and just shit goes down. And then 6 is where everything kind of like calms down.
Yeah, they conclude stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's pretty good. So we can move on here. Let's go into a little bit of a ranking.
Okay.
So I'd like to. There's been a lot of X-Men talk this episode.
There has.
Let's go ahead and rank the X-Men X-Men movies.
Okay.
This list is not including New Mutants because I don't want to, and I don't even remember it enough to rank it.
Okay.
So
I haven't seen New Mutants.
Yeah.
So.
I've seen. I feel like I haven't seen it, but I have. It's
I know
just
movies like that.
dog doo doo. It's not very good, but also it's not an X-Men movie. It was like one of their last attempts to try and start something, and then it just didn't work at all. But let's go ahead and let's start off. Yeah. So we got X2. X2. Okay, X2 is probably the one that I've seen the least. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
But ironically, is one of the best comic book movies out there. I think it's up there with not some of like the masterpieces of comic books cinema, but it's up there with like the B and A ranking.
Yeah.
It's a very solid movie. Introduced Nightcrawler. It dives more into Wolverine's story with Stryker coming back.
Okay, yeah.
It is. It's to me. It is the least memorable because I've seen it the least amount of times. But every time I watch it, I am like, this is so good. This is also the one where Iceman comes out as a mutant. He comes out the closet as a mutant to his parents.
Yeah.
And the police show up to their house and stuff, and he's like, Wolverine's like, don't shoot, and he's got the claws out, and they're like, drop the knives.
Oh yeah.
And they shoot him in the head. I think this is probably a B or an A, just based off of memory.
I think from what I remember, I don't remember a whole lot about this one either, but I think I remember it being kind of around where you're saying, a good high ranking for sure.
I'm gonna go ahead and place it in A, and if there's some later that we think are better, we can move it down.
Okay.
Dark Phoenix, the only one I don't own, and I will never own it.
I actually did not see Dark Phoenix, but I know the reputation it carries.
Yeah, I will spare you, and I'm gonna go ahead and put an F. It's terrible.
Yeah,
it's almost unwatchable.
Ex-women.
That line is bad, and it's like one of the worst lines ever written ever. But the movie is just like as bad as that line. I don't want people to think that I based the movie off that line.
Yeah,
like,
just that line,
ex-women line is bad, so the whole
Yeah.
movie bad. The movie is bad. There are some cool moments. The train scene, the train fight scene at the end. Do you remember in the trailer when like Magneto lifts the train off the tracks?
Oh yeah,
And
yep.
Watching that trailer, I was like, this movie might be good. No, it's just not. So I'm gonna go ahead and it's gonna be F.
Okay.
X-Men Days of Future Past. Now, I think this is. I think Days of Future Past is up there with some of the best comic book movies, like masterpieces. Now, there are bits and pieces of it that I would take out and that I'm not a huge fan of. I'm not a huge fan of Stryker being in the movie. He's kind of serves no purpose almost. It is like it is kind of to set up like Wolverine's origin story, even though we've already seen it. We've already seen his origin story, so why are you setting it up again? But other than that, this is an incredible movie. It's probably the darkest besides Logan, I would say. It has this incredibly like deep tone of darkness to it, and like sadness and fear almost, you know. The future scenes are very desolate. Like it feels like a wasteland of like, oh, these people are being hunted, you know. And then the going back in the past part is just so much fun to watch this older Wolverine go with James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender. So much fun. And of course, Quicksilver. We get the time in a bottle Quicksilver scene. One of the best theater experiences that I've had with I think this was the first X-Men movie I saw in theaters, and I love it so much. It's so good.
I mean, that Quicksilver scene that's one of the best comic book movie scenes like ever, I think.
Yeah,
honestly,
it's crazy how that one and the one in Apocalypse kind of are like they kind of contend. They're kind of both like there's the one the time in a bottle scene is just the kitchen, but then the Apocalypse one is him saving everyone from the blowing up mansion. That's an awesome scene. But no, Days of Future Past I think is one of my favorites. I could put that on pretty much any time, I think.
Days of Future Past is good. I also think that it's like I don't know if it's S from what I haven't watched it in a while either, but I don't know if it's S, but I think it's very strong A.
I'd agree with that.
Like an A+ kind of ranking for me.
Among the X-Men movies and among the Fox universe, I think it's so good it's almost like you could consider it an S. But looking at it in terms of these movies and other movies, it's probably a really strong A.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then Apocalypse. This is one that I think people usually mostly agree on, but I like it a little bit more than people you usually do, or a lot of people do. But I recognize that it's not very, very great. There's a lot that I enjoy about it. I enjoy the finale a whole lot. I don't know. There's actually I kind of enjoy the whole movie pretty much. I can sit down and really enjoy it, but there is a lot about it. I'm like, this just isn't working. It's not working, but I'm having fun at least. You know, it's not X-Men Origins. It's not Wolverine Origins, or Dark Phoenix, but I think Apocalypse is probably a D or a C or like a low C.
I think low C. Honestly, I do get some enjoyable bits from it and stuff like that. So I think the low C works for it.
It has some of the funniest moments, I think, in the X-Men movies. The my grandfather planted that tree, and I would swing from its branches every day. And then he cut, and then Cyclops cuts the tree down. He goes, I think that was probably my favorite tree. I love that. I love that scene. Deadpool. The first Deadpool movie. This is arguably like an S. An S comic book film.
That's a good ass movie.
It's great. I just learned that they shot this in 8 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, they shot the first Deadpool movie in 8 weeks on like $100 million. Wow. Maybe not even that. Probably less than that. I think it was like $80 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know that the project in specifically was a long time coming. Like, it was a long time in the works.
Yeah.
To get, like, actually Ryan Reynolds in the costume on set for the shooting of a Deadpool movie, you know?
Yeah.
So it was, like, kind of a big deal when it finally got announced. But that's crazy that they wrapped in 8 weeks.
I know. It sounds like such a, I mean, it is a short amount of time for a movie, you know?
Yeah.
It is wild. I think Deadpool is an S for sure.
Yeah, I think it's S.
And actually, the first time I watched Deadpool was at lunch in the cafeteria in like 6th grade or something.
Yeah.
I was told, first of all, I was told by my parents that I would be able to see it, and then it came out and they were like, "No, you're not gonna go see it." So I resorted to watching it bootlegged, and then. But the first real time I watched it all the way through without like stopping between days to watch it was my cousin's house. My older cousin. We sat down in his basement and we watched it. And I don't know, that feeling is just like, it kind of felt like I was in Deadpool almost. Just that feeling of where I was. Such a good movie and a good memory for sure too.
Nice.
Logan. I don't even think we have to say that much. It's the best movie on this list.
Yeah,
it's the greatest movie.
It's literally one of the best comic movies ever.
It's one of the best movies ever.
Yeah.
That I've seen, anyways. It's like it's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's like contender of top 3 movies that I love forever, almost number 1. You know.
Yeah.
It's just, it does so good at concluding Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. And that's the thing I wanted to talk about too, is I don't have a problem with Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine because I don't view it as them bringing Hugh back for one more go as Wolverine. I view it as them properly concluding the Fox universe. You can't properly conclude it without Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
And I think Logan still stands as the conclusion of his character, but Deadpool 3 will stand as the conclusion to the overall universe.
Yeah.
And I think there's nothing wrong with bringing Hugh Jackman back for that. And even for Secret Wars, if he comes back for a Secret Wars cameo, I'm like, he's still, the Fox universe has been concluded. The character of Wolverine has been concluded, played by Hugh Jackman. Yeah. I think a fun little cameo in Secret Wars will even more so cap that off.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the culmination of now we get to see Hugh with all these different people that we've wanted to see him with over the years.
Him and Toby. Oh.
I'm gonna come a little bit. I will.
Them specifically, because they were supposed to happen.
They were.
Yeah.
That'll be a full circle moment.
It was literally accidental that they didn't happen.
Yeah, because they couldn't find
his costume or whatever.
Hugh's costume.
Which is literally like, why didn't he just throw on some jeans, some boots, and a leather jacket or something? Yeah,
that's all he needs. But they wanted him to have the black suit that he had. I honestly would have preferred a jacket and pants Wolverine because that's my fate. Like,
it would have fit more into the Spider-Man movie one.
Yeah. That look for Wolverine, like just the civilian look, is almost as iconic as it honestly is as iconic as the suit, because it's like we've seen him in this just like kind of civilian clothing, and he works because he's like, I'm not a superhero. I'm a dude that has claws and kill people. I don't know. It's just so casual, and I love that.
I can just imagine him like driving like his bike or something, and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man just like swings overhead, and he just like. He just like looks back for a second. Oh my!
I can't wait to see just these two guys that started it. I mean, not counting Wesley Snipes' Blade because nobody saw that. I mean, people saw it, but it didn't like this. It didn't like, oh, Marvel's like this new thing.
Yeah.
Spider-Man and X-Men were the 2 movies that were like, Marvel's kind of got something here.
Yeah.
I think Toby and Hugh on screen together it'll be even more impactful to me than the 3 Spider-Men. I mean, personally, I think it is hard to imagine that. Like, it was hard to imagine the 3 Spider-Men on screen after Endgame. You know, Endgame was like, oh, that was the biggest thing that I'll ever see.
Yeah.
And then that did it, and I was like, that's the biggest thing that I'll ever see.
Yeah.
But I truly think Hugh and Toby, and if they tried to get Robert Downey Jr., that trio would be it. But
Like the
specific,
three main Marvel faces,
yeah,
you know.
the three people that kind of defined Marvel before
they
it was as big as
built
it is.
Marvel essentially
Yes.
in some way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I just think that if that happened, even with just the two, Hugh and Toby, I think is just gonna be perfect and so much. It's gonna be so important and impactful.
Yeah.
But I can't wait for Secret Wars for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on Deadpool 2?
I think it's a slight step down from the first one, but
Okay.
I still like the cast of characters in Deadpool 2. Honestly, I like the cast of characters a little bit more in Deadpool 2 because
Yeah.
the ones from the first one are expanded upon more, and then there's
Yeah.
some added ones in and stuff like that. You know,
Right.
like Josh Brolin's Cable.
So he's so good.
I love Josh Brolin's Cable in this movie. I don't know the girl's name, but the girl who plays Domino.
Zazie Beetz.
Yeah, she's great in this movie as well.
Yeah.
There's some really funny cameos in the movie.
Yes.
The Brad Pitt cameo obviously is really cool. Bill Skarsgård's in the movie. He's like the vomiting guy or whatever.
Zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's I mean obviously there's really funny moments. Juggernaut.
Yes. Played by Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, played by Ryan Reynolds. Funnily enough, the most comic accurate Juggernaut is like this super super satired version of him. Basically.
It is the most accurate. That's so funny. Deadpool 2. It's again more sentimental value than the first one because I watched it in theaters.
Yeah.
And so I kind of have this feeling that I like it more than the first Deadpool one, but I don't think it's better than the first Deadpool.
Yeah.
The first Deadpool had so much behind it of why it's so good.
Yeah.
So much behind the scenes and the movie itself.
I just think there's certain action scenes and scenes in general in the first Deadpool movie that it just feels a tad stronger than the second one.
I agree. Yeah.
Like the second one don't get me wrong, the second one's a very good movie still. It's up there with the first one, neck and neck. But
yes.
The first one just has that. And I will say this, for me personally, part of the first one is part of the fact that it is the first. It did start off, the Deadpool, and it kind of has that. Even though it's not an old movie, it kind of has a nostalgia kind of feel to it, at least, more so than the second one does. Even though they didn't come out that long in between, that
2
long
years,
apart.
yeah,
2 years.
Yeah, it'll be 5 years since Deadpool 3 or Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2, yeah, that's wow.
I know. It's so crazy.
But I think a good A tier for Deadpool 2.
I agree.
I don't know if I would put it above Days of Future Past, but probably in the middle there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the middle of X2 and Days of Future Past, that's a good place to put it.
Yeah.
X-Men: The Last Stand. I have a lot of nostalgia bias for this movie.
Yeah.
It's probably the X-Men movie I've seen the most. But going back and rewatching it as someone who can actually recognize if a movie is truly good or not.
Yeah.
It's probably a D.
Yeah.
It's probably a D. It's I don't know. It's got so much that it tries to do. It does the Phoenix story.
Yeah.
And it just kind of sidelines it.
Yeah.
It does the mutant cure storyline, and it puts it more into focus. And there's a great way that they could have tied both these stories together that they just, for some reason, didn't do, which was why did Wolverine kill Jean instead of using the mutant cure to take away her powers? I mean, that just makes it feels like that's the most logical way of this. Obviously, don't do these two storylines together, probably, but since they did do them together, that feels like the natural way to do it is to take, we got to do the cure and stop Jean.
Yeah.
Use the cure to stop Jean. That just feels like the most natural way to do that. But of course, this movie did give us yet another perfect casting, which is Kelsey Grammer as Beast.
Oh yeah,
Kelsey
yes.
Grammer and I've heard that he also might be coming back. I don't know for Deadpool, probably Deadpool. I would assume Deadpool. But he's so good as Beast. He's the perfect live action Beast, and it sucks that he's like so old now because he would be so great as like a mainline continuation of the character.
Yeah.
But the overall movie is it's not great. It's not great.
Yeah.
And Charles dies, and then they bring him back at the end. Like it's that thing of like we're killing off a character, but he's coming back right at the end.
Mhm.
Same with like Loki and like Dark World and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I'm probably gonna say D for this movie.
I think that fits.
And then X-Men Origins Wolverine is one that's pretty unanimous amongst most. Again, nostalgia. I enjoy it. I enjoy watching it, but it's not good. It's not good. There are bits and pieces that I enjoy, but it's just not good.
Yeah.
It completely ruins Deadpool's character. It honestly doesn't even do a great job with Wolverine's character. Hugh Jackman does the most he can with this character in this movie, and it just doesn't. He just can't save it. Liev Schreiber, great. He's a great Sabretooth, but should have been in a different movie.
Yeah.
What? I honestly I don't know what you think of this movie.
I mean, I watched it I think maybe once or twice, like a long time ago.
Yeah.
I remember not being a huge fan of it. Yeah. I especially do not like the Deadpool stuff now.
Oh no, yeah. Yeah, it's
is it worse than Dark Phoenix?
no, Dark. I mean, I own X-Men. I own Wolverine Origins.
Yeah.
And I can still watch it and not feel like I just wasted 2 hours.
Yeah.
I watch it and I go, I mean, I enjoyed it, but I wish they didn't make this, you know? Dark Phoenix is infinitely the worst movie that they've ever produced.
Okay.
I genuinely, that and New Mutants is better, but it doesn't serve any importance to this story, so I like why include it, you know?
Yeah.
Why was it made? But Dark Phoenix is worse. I would say that this is probably F, but higher than Dark Phoenix for sure. The first X-Men.
First X-Men.
I think it's not as good as X2, but it's kind of like a Spider-Man situation. It's first movie's good, second movie is great, third is it kind of followed that trend.
Yeah.
Third is like not as good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the first X-Men movie is probably a B. It sets up the universe very well. I mean, it introduces all these concepts and mutants very well. And of course, it was the 2000s, so everyone wears black leather for some reason.
Yeah.
Not great, but the story itself is very simple and it's easy to watch. It's a very easy film to watch, I think.
Yeah.
Do you have any specific thoughts on the first one? Do you have anything tied to it that you like?
Not particularly, honestly. I remember being more fond of the second one. Like you, I really haven't watched any of like the main X-Men movies a whole lot, but
it's been, yeah.
I do remember kind of being more fond of the second one. From what I do, bits and pieces I do remember rather than the first. But I think B probably sounds right for the tier list and stuff, how it's looking.
Yeah. X-Men First Class. This is one that I've also seen very few times, but every time I watch it, I'm like, damn, this is a good movie. This is a great movie. And I think this is, again, it's the X-Men, like, if it's good, it's amazing, and if it's bad, it's usually just shit. It's usually terrible. But I think X-Men First Class, it really does a great job with the relationship between Eric and Charles.
Yeah.
So good. And then also the relationship with Mystique and Charles, and the three of them is very, very, very well done. The story is not this movie is like not very memorable to me because I've seen it again very few times. But of course I'm Charles Xavier. I'm Eric Lyncher. go fuck yourselves. The Wolverine scene.
Yeah.
That's a classic. That's a classic scene. I think this is a very strong A. I think this is probably... I think I enjoy Days of Future Past more, but I think it's probably better than Deadpool 2.
I think so too. I think that's a good spot for it, and right there in between Deadpool 2 and Days of Future Past.
Yeah,
because I do like James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender's work with the characters as well.
Perfectly casted young versions.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Yeah, arguably better. I think.
Yeah.
I think Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart are perfect as that older version.
Yeah,
But they just do something as not only as just the younger character version of the characters, but they add something to the character in general.
Yeah, they match the chemistry really well, I think, together in an unmatched kind of way. You know?
I agree. And then the last one is The Wolverine, which would be, in my opinion, like a 9 movie, like a 9 out of 10 movie, if it weren't for the ending, if it weren't for the finale of like giant robot fight. Because this movie, the setting in Japan, this is unironically one of my favorite comic book movies. And I didn't watch it in theaters. I actually didn't even know it ever came out until like 2 years after it came out.
Wow.
I really like this movie. The following of Logan in Japan, like protecting this young woman, and it's got some of the best. It's got some of the best Wolverine fight scenes, some of the best character work on the character, and it's also James Mangold. So he did this one and then he did Logan. Logan is infinitely better.
Yeah.
But this movie, I think, had the potential to be almost as good as Logan had they not fumbled it with the ending, because the ending is like super comic booky and it just does not fit the tone of the movie.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Wolverine?
I don't think so. No, it sounds like kind of like John Wick almost, kind of.
It is. Oh yeah, that's a great way. Actually, well, I don't know if he's in. No, he is in John Wick. Hiro Samada. Samada.
Oh, Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yeah.
The
he's in everything.
Yeah, that big action guy. He's in that too.
Yeah.
The Wolverine. Nice.
He plays not the main villain, but he plays the second antagonist.
Okay.
And he has a fight with Wolverine. Actually, the title drop is with his character, because he goes, "What are you?" And he like stabs him, and he goes, "The Wolverine." And it's a sick moment. And the lightning and thunder in the background, it's a sick moment. I love it. The Wolverine is one of my favorite comic book movies. Very underrated, but it definitely fumbles a little bit. So I'm going to put it in B. I'm going to say it's a low B.
Okay.
And honestly, I think this is probably the list.
Yeah, that's a pretty good list.
I think this is the list. So starting from bottom of F to top of S, we have Dark Phoenix, X-Men Origins Wolverine, and then going to D, we have X-Men The Last Stand, and then C is X-Men Apocalypse, and then B is The Wolverine and X-Men 2000, A, X2, Deadpool 2, X-Men the First Class, and Days of Future Past, and then S is Deadpool and Logan. So I think that's a pretty solid list.
Yeah, that's a real good list.
Well, before we close out here, let's go through some of our recommendations that we have for this week.
For sure.
You can go ahead and give any recommendation that you may have.
Okay. I got 3 quick movies for you right here.
All right.
Got Kick-Ass.
Okay.
It's a really fun movie. It's young Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yes. Yeah.
Basically, he's a kid who likes comic book movies and decides to be a superhero. Well, a hero. And
yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's a funny and cool, gory comedy action movie. It has Nicolas Cage playing a Batman spoof, which I like now specifically because that means that which this is actually relevant because we talked about like the most popular superheroes and stuff in this episode. Nicolas Cage has played all 3 of them. essentially. He's played.
Oh, he
He's played
has.
spoof
Oh my
Batman.
God.
He's played Superman, and he's played Spider-Man.
You're right.
So Nicolas Cage has got it down there.
He played Superman twice. He played him in The Flash, and he played him in Teen Titans Go in the movie.
Oh, wow.
In the movie, yeah.
Dang. Well, yeah, Nicolas Cage legend.
He's played all of them.
But yeah, Kick-Ass. It's pretty fun. It's a really
Yeah.
fun movie. Really good comedy. Mark Strong is the villain, and he's really cool. He's doing like karate on like a 9-year-old girl. It's really awesome.
Has this movie inspired you to go out and become who you were meant to be?
Yeah, become a superhero. Yeah, it definitely has, for sure.
If you see me out there, don't say it.
The only problem with the movie is that it's aged kind of milky, despite being not that old.
Right.
It's only like came out in like 2012, 2011, something like that.
Yeah, it's not that old.
And the language and stuff is just, it's kind of cringe. It's kind of like his friends are like calling him gay as an insult and stuff like that, and it's just kind of, I don't know,
Yeah.
kind of weird. Well, it's not weird because it fits the time period, but just kind of weird now.
It's like, well, that's a little.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, it's still a good movie, good watch.
Yeah.
Definitely something to just enjoy.
Right.
For sure.
Who made that? Your husband? Did your husband give to you? Nice outfit.
Yeah, I think ended up giving it like a 7 out of 10, 6.5
Okay.
out of 10, somewhere in that range. Next up is Immortals. Henry Cavill led basic like Greek mythology kind of story.
Mhm.
It's like a zero to hero kind of story. The guy's like a peasant, except and he's a peasant and he like ascends to godhood. That's like the whole premise of the story.
Okay.
And Zeus has kind of watched over him his whole life though and stuff. So it's kind of like, yeah, you're a peasant. You could be anybody, but you couldn't be anybody. You were
Right.
specifically chosen. But anyway,
Yeah.
it I don't know. It just doesn't work. Everything feels generic. The visuals are cool. There are some really cool visuals, and set designs and stuff. Cool action scenes.
Mhm.
Henry Cavill's acting isn't even bad. It's pretty good acting on his part, and the cast is pretty good. But I don't know. It just feels the story felt like it was like put secondhand. Behind the visuals and the action sequences in this movie.
Dang.
Ended up giving it a 3 out of 10. Pretty bad.
Wow.
And then next up was a rewatch of Bullet Train,
One of my favorites.
a movie I was very excited to rewatch, and I think I like it even more than I did before. It's a really fun movie, man.
It's
I love how much world building this one movie does. This 2-hour-long movie does so much world building and exposition. And it does it fast, but it's not in a bad way at all. It feels like it's either with the comedic nature of the movie, or like it feels like it's like actually like something that expands upon like characters or a meeting in the movie itself, you know?
Yeah.
And the comedy works. Like the comedy just works at every single turn. It feels like. I think Lemon and Tangerine, Brian Tyree Henry and Aaron Taylor Johnson are definitely the standout of the movie.
Yeah.
I feel like their dynamic is like what you're kind of, by the end of the movie, that's who you're kind of your heart's in it for.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Pitt's Ladybug, he comes around, I think, by the end as well. His character about like learning to like let fate do its thing and stuff like that, and not to stress over it.
Right.
And this movie also has Hiroyuki Sanada in it as well, actually.
Yeah.
And he kind of plays that role that helps Ladybug realize, to let fate play its course, and it's a pretty good role. Michael Shannon plays the White
Michael
Death.
Shannon. That was a great
awesome.
in the theater was like, who is this actor? And then it turned out I was like, Michael Shannon. What the fuck?
Awesome. I just even like Bad Bunny as the wolf.
He's not a great actor, but
he's not particularly great acting, but he fits perfectly for like what the character's trying to be. Just an over the top like.
Right.
He's like walking super weird and stuff. And I don't know. It just literally the only gripe I have with this movie, and it's like literally the most miniature of gripes, is that I wish that Karen Fukuhara had like some importance in the actual story. I kind of wish that she and like the girl who plays Domino,
Zazie Beetz, yeah.
I kind of wish that her and that character were like working together or something. Maybe
that would have been an interesting twist
instead of like her like just beating her ass real quick.
Yeah. When did this came out in 2022?
Yeah, I think 2020. Yep, 2022.
So Karen Fukuhara had already done The Boys for the last 2 years, and she had already become established.
Yeah.
And why wasn't she?
I don't know. And they kind of marketed her as like, oh, Karen Fukuhara is going to be in this. Like, The Boys, but. Logan Lerman, though, was kind of that same way.
Kind of, but I liked his more.
He makes more sense, though, because he's literally like.
He's a plot device.
Yeah, he's a plot device.
Yeah, but she's like a background character.
Yeah, literally a concession girl.
Yeah. So that's so degrading for her as an actress.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. Hiroyuki Sanada is an actor that I think he's so underrated in American media.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he's much bigger in
Asian
Japanese,
film,
in Asian culture, and media. But
I gotta watch more foreign films, bro. That's one thing I've been slacking on so much.
I want to watch especially after watching All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one that I've seen. I think it's the only foreign film that I've seen.
I really want to watch some Korean films and some Japanese films.
Yeah.
There's some good ones and some Chinese films too. Have you heard of In the Mood for Love with Tony Leung in it? I
haven't.
Bro.
I got to watch my Tony Leung.
I've heard it's a top movie, man. I got to see that.
Yeah.
But there's some good foreign movies out there, and Hiroyuki Sanada, I'm pretty sure he's in a lot of good like Japanese style, samurai style movies and stuff.
I'm glad he's made his way over here in our stuff, because he's so underrated, and I think he needs to be in more as in like not a stereotypical like samurai character.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah. But I don't know. Bullet Train was nice. The Ryan Reynolds reveal will always be
That's one of my favorites.
I can't explain the laugh that got in the theater.
I know. That is because it's so. It is the only reason that exists is because of the Deadpool 2 cameo.
Yeah.
Because it's the same director.
Yeah, David Leitch. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the only reason that this cameo exists, this is one of the only cameos that Ryan Reynolds has that doesn't feel like obligatory Ryan Reynolds cameo.
Yeah.
Because there's meaning behind it.
Yes. And what's so perfect about it is that it's built up through literally like the first 5 minutes of the movie. He goes, "Oh, I'm filling in for Carver. Fuck Carver."
Yeah.
and they trash talk him throughout basically the entire movie, subtly. They're kind of like, "Oh yeah, Carver stinks, man.
Carver's an asshole."
And then and it's so funny that Michael Shannon's like, "You are Carver. I'm looking for the Carver." He's like, "I'm not Carver."
And then the reveal,
the big reveal,
motorcycle helmet take off, and it's Ryan. I love that. I love that cameo so much.
That's so good.
It also, you're right. It even adds to it the fact that it's a character in the movie that we know about.
Yeah.
That we don't ever see.
Yeah, it's literally like the whole. He's actually the reason, when you get all the pieces to the puzzle, his character is literally the reason why everything's happening.
Why Brad Pitt is
because he's the reason his wife died. The White Death's wife died.
Yeah.
So it's literally the reason why everything went into motion with the White Death hiring everyone on the train and everything, and it's so funny he called in sick for work.
I think it's funny because I don't think it's supposed to be that way for every character in the film. I think there are characters that go after Ladybug because Bad Bunny. Yeah. But you know what's funny is I think it would have been even better if every single character went after Brad Pitt because they thought he was Carver and Carver took the day off.
Yeah.
I think that would have been
everyone just thought he was, yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome. Everyone just hates Carver.
And it's Ryan Reynolds, yeah.
That would have made the reveal even bigger.
Yeah.
That would have been the focus, basically.
That would have been so good.
But no, I ended up giving Bullet Train an 8 out of 10. Very, very fun, very enjoyable movie.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, pure funness, it might be number one of the 2020s. I don't know how many more films I've had more just fun with both in and out of the theater, just watching it.
Yeah.
I think there's so much style, so much humor, so much action.
Yeah.
It's actually surprisingly how much good action there is with very little gunfiring. There's honestly
there's
not that
hardly
many. There's not that many and almost all the gunfiring is like in flashbacks or something.
Right.
You know, like the White Death or something like that. It's not usually on the train itself until towards the end.
Yeah.
And a lot of the action is like, it's witty and it's smart and stuff like that. You know, it's him getting a drink of a water bottle and
then
you want to talk this out? Not particularly.
yeah. That's great. Bullet Train is a movie that I think is like, in my head, a 10 out of 10 is so not what the movie is.
Yeah.
But for me, it feels like it is one of my favorites. So it's almost like, for me, a 10.
Yeah.
But it's not really, you
Yeah.
know? It's in the same way that Monsters University, for me, is a 10. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's a movie that I find extremely difficult to believe that you can't find something that you enjoy out of it.
Yeah, really. All the acting is great.
Yeah.
All the action is great. The
Yeah.
story is simple and fun. And it's got so much style and soul.
We didn't even mention Lemon with the Thomas the Train.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Thomas the Train characterizations are so... That's one of my favorite parts of the movie, basically.
Yeah.
Like him literally basically like predicting everyone's character arc. But
Based on a Thomas the Tank Engine character.
And the best one is when he finds that he basically finds out that Joey King's character is like evil. He's like, I found my diesel.
Diesel, yeah. Oh, that's so good. You're a diesel. Oh,
But
that's a great movie.
It's a really good movie, really fun.
Yeah.
Recommend to everybody if you haven't seen it. Absolutely.
Nice. And then I only have one recommendation this week. What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Yes.
Have you seen?
I actually have seen this movie, yeah.
I didn't know Gilbert Grape was not Leonardo DiCaprio. I thought Gilbert Grape was Leo.
Yeah.
But Leo is Arnie Grape, and Johnny Depp is Gilbert Grape.
Yes.
This is a great movie about family and coming to terms with how your family lives, and basically it's a great story of resenting and then accepting your family.
Yeah.
Realizing that their mother is very overweight, and so Gilbert Grape he hates her because of what she's done to herself, in turn has done to them.
Yeah.
And over the course of the movie, it kind of comes through as like he realizes, that it is her fault, but she doesn't like that she's become this way.
Yeah.
And that it's full of heart, and the best moments of the movie are when Johnny and Leo are together. Their acting together is so good, and their relationship is adorable.
Yeah.
It's so good. Johnny gives a really good performance. He's very simple performance for him, I think, but he's very good as this angsty, not teenager. He's like an angsty, like young 20-year-old. Yeah. And the setting of the ghost town is really well done. It really feels like 5 people live in this town. The mom's acting, the actor or the actress, her name is I think it's Diana Cates. I think that's her name. But she's great. She gives a great performance, specifically towards the end of the movie. And then
Darlene Cates.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, she's great. And then the standout for sure is Leonardo DiCaprio as Arnie.
Absolutely.
Wow. I mean, completely loses himself in this role.
Yeah.
The moment he comes on screen, you don't even realize it's Leo. I mean, it helps that he's young and that he's like, we're so used to watching an older Leo.
Yeah.
But he just isn't Leonardo DiCaprio in this movie.
Yeah.
Completely loses himself. He's, I believe at the time, it was undiagnosed autism is what he has. They didn't have a name for it at the time, but now we know as autism.
Yeah.
And so good, bringing this very real feeling of a real intellectual disorder.
Yeah.
And he's so good.
That scene, I haven't watched the movie in a while, but I remember a scene like towards the end with his mom that he has like in her room or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh,
powerful scene.
So
man.
good because he's a little kid. He's 19 or he's 18 in the movie, but he's a little kid.
Yeah,
and he hasn't processed things the way that the rest of the characters do, because his his
situation,
his mental disorder doesn't allow him to, but his acting is so good.
It's so good.
I don't know what the award situation was. I don't know if he was nominated. I don't know if he was. I have to believe that he was.
Yeah.
I can't believe that he wouldn't be nominated.
Yeah.
But he should have won. Is the thing is like
yeah.
he should have won, because I can't. I mean, even if there was like a great performance that came out that year, I can't imagine that one beat out his.
Yeah.
I just can't. The movie is very, very solid, very solid. Like, I give it an 8 out of 10. The weakest part is Juliette Lewis. She's flat as hell. Her line delivery is terrible. The lines that they give her is terrible, or are terrible, and she's just not interesting. She's like the least interesting part about the movie. But she benefits Johnny Depp and Leonardo DiCaprio's characters and makes them better. So that's good. But this movie is very heartfelt, very heartwarming. You'll probably shed some tears watching it. It's good. It's really good. I definitely recommend What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Nice. But
we've come up on the end of another banger episode of the Cinemaniacs podcast.
Yes.
So thank you all so much for tuning in this week. If you wanna find us elsewhere, you can find us on our social media. You can find us on our Instagram at the Cinemaniacs Pod. Same on TikTok, and you can find us separately on Instagram. I am at Maceo Movies.
I'm at Lodo Reviews,
and you can find us on all other various social media platforms. You can find us on all the different streaming platforms as well. Something before we close out here, I recently started a new podcast with my cousin Raven, where we talk about anything. We just kind of shoot the shit, and it's just a comedy. Come sit with us and just have some fun sitting and listening to us talk about nonsense.
Yeah.
It's called the Average Wiener Daytime Show.
Nice.
We stream it every Wednesday or Thursday night.
Okay.
On Twitch, and then the day after it goes up on all platforms.
Okay.
So, go ahead and give that a listen. I greatly appreciate it. But
nice.
Thank you everybody for tuning in this week, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Cinemaniacs podcast.
Signing off.
Signing off.
The Cinemaniacs podcast.